thought, okay. It's like, all right, well, you know, am I a bigot and a transphobe? Well, I probably have my biases because people tend to have in-group biases, you know, and that's associated, by the way, with compassion, just so you know it, because one of the things compassion does is make you much more strongly bound to your in-group, you know. It's like a mother is compassionate because she loves her baby, and she loves the baby more than other things that aren't the baby, obviously. And so actually compassion is one of the main sources of in-group bias, which is something for the compassion warriors to think about for like 3/5 of a second. There's nothing less compassionate to you than a mother grizzly bear protecting her cubs. And so you should think about that when you think about empathy for a minute, because empathy is by no means an untrammeled moral virtue. In fact, it's responsible and can be responsible for absolutely atrocious actions. It depends on who you're empathizing with, you know. And if you're empathizing with someone that you regard as an infantilized victim, then you automatically snap into a frame of mind where everyone who might be oppressing that infantilized victim is a predatory parasite, and you're not very bloody empathetic to them, I can tell you. So that's a big problem. Anyways, with regards to this scaremongering issue, so yeah, biased, yeah, probably, and blind, definitely. Like more than you might expect? No, I don't think so. And one of the things that actually protected me through all this was that, you know, I've actually tried to come to terms with the evil that lurks in human hearts, particularly my own, and I have 500 hours of lectures on that online. If anybody, you know, has the bizarre desire to pound their way through them, they can more or less figure out what I think, because I've said 500 hours of it publicly, and so I didn't feel too bad about my level of bigotry or hatred. You know, I think you could probably infer that by watching the videos, so it's kind of protected on that front. And then there was the scaremongering issue, and that's a good one. That's a tough one, man, because, you know, if you look at Bill C-16, it just kind of looks like, well, we're extending protection to another oppressed group, which isn't actually true, because gender identity, by the way, no, gender expression, that's not a group. I'd just like to point that out, because terminological accuracy actually matters. So we've extended legal protection to fashion, essentially, and you can say, well, maybe I'm, you know, being a bit intransigent about that, but I read the damn policies and I don't think I am. And that's not a group, so that's an indication of the muddle-headedness behind the legislation. And then the federal government, the Department of Justice, did say on their own website that they were going to interpret that law in light of the policies of the Ontario Human Rights Commission. And so, fine, man, go to the Ontario Human Rights Commission if they haven't taken the policies off yet, and read what they're up to. And if you agree with that, well, good, agree with it. But I would suspect that if you agree with it, you didn't understand it, or you're up to something. And that comes to the next part. What are we really talking about here? Well, so we could be talking about my biases and my proclivity to scaremonger, and, you know, fair enough, but here's some reasons we're not. And one is that I have all those lectures online, and, you know, believe me, if there would have been a phrase in any of them that indicated that there was something even vaguely morally corrupt about me, it would have been paraded around as evidence. You can be sure of that. So that's kind of a relief. You know, I did a lot of soul searching in the last couple of months, and it's not like I'm without my problems, but anyways, so what is this about? Well, we'll say, hopefully it's not about me, because that'd be stupid. And so what's going on? Why are all these people watching these videos, these